As the NBA season has come to a close, there have been multiple reports of a potential Bradley Beal trade that would propel Washington into a full-on rebuild. Traction started to pick up quickly on these rumors, and just yesterday, it was announced that Bradley Beal had been traded to the Phoenix Suns. So without keeping the intro too long, in this video, we'll be talking about the Bradley Beal trade, what it entails for both the Wizards and the Suns, and many more details revolving around the situation. If you enjoy this video, please subscribe. It would help me so much in continuing to grow this channel. So with that being said, let's dive straight into the video. After years of speculation and rumors, the much anticipated trade involving Washington Wizards all-star guard Bradley Beal has finally become a reality. Beal has been traded to the Phoenix Suns in a blockbuster deal that sent shockwaves throughout the NBA community. Multiple sources, including renowned insiders Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN and Shams Charania of The Athletic, have confirmed the details of the trade. According to these reports, the trade package includes the Suns sending Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and 6 second-round picks to the Wizards. This deal represents a significant commitment from the Suns ownership, led by Matt Ishbia, who's shown their willingness to invest heavily in pursuit of a championship. However, the trade process was far from straightforward, and was described as extremely complicated by Beal's agent, Mark Bartelstein. It required overcoming numerous hurdles, including Beal waiving his no-trade clause, which was part of a 5-year, $251 million extension he signed with the Wizards just a year ago. From a financial perspective, this trade has significant implications for both teams. Beal's max contract and Paul's remaining years on his deal result in a substantial amount of salary on the books for both the Suns and the Wizards. The Suns, who are already operating close to the salary cap, will have no flexibility to make additional roster moves unless they shed salary through other trades or free agency maneuvers. The trade negotiations between the Wizards and the Suns were said to have been ongoing for several months, with both teams exploring various scenarios to reach an agreement. The Suns had been in a search for a high-scoring shooting guard to complement their existing core, and Beal was at the top of their wish list. With his ability to create his own shot and stretch the floor, Beal was viewed as the ideal fit alongside Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. From the Suns' perspective, acquiring Beal not only solidifies their championship aspirations, but also serves as an insurance against the potential roster changes. DeAndre Ayton grew frustrated with the Suns organization, and Beal's presence could help persuade him to re-sign with the Suns. Additionally, Beal's arrival strengthens the Suns' chances of retaining key role players and attracting veteran talent who may be enticed by the team's championship prospects. For the Suns, this trade represents a major move to bolster their roster and elevate their championship aspirations. With Beal joining forces with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, the Suns have assembled a formidable trio of maximum contract players. While this trio holds great potential, it also comes with financial commitments and potential roster flexibility changes due to the constraints imposed by the collective bargaining agreement. The Suns' salary cap situation is nearing its limits, with the combined salaries of Durant, Booker, Ayton, and Beal pushing them close to the salary cap of $134 million for the upcoming season. Furthermore, the Suns' pursuit of star power through this trade has come at the expense of their future draft assets. On top of this, Kevin Durant is almost 35 years old, and Bradley Beal is just turning 30, which means that their championship timeline is very short, and they have to get this right. This puts them in an all-in situation, where the success of this trade will heavily determine the outlook of their next several years. The inclusion of 6 second-round picks in the trade demonstrates the Suns' commitment to acquiring Beal. If things work out as planned, the Suns could potentially become the best team in the Western Conference and emerge as the favorites to win a championship. However, if the trade doesn't pan out, the Suns will find themselves limited in their ability to make significant roster changes for the foreseeable future. From a basketball standpoint, Beal's arrival to the Suns instantly boosts their offensive prowess. Beal, Durant, and Booker make for the best offensive trio in the NBA and will be the most prolific three-headed scoring punch in the league. What makes this trio even better than their offensive talents individually is their fit together. In the past, both Booker and Beal have shown their playmaking capabilities and have had no problem running the show. On top of this, both of them can play without the ball. With that being said, this opens up endless opportunities for Durant isolations, and if any team dares to double team them just like the Celtics did 2 postseasons ago, he will have 2 of the best scorers in the league to kick out to. The same sequence can be run for both Booker and Beal as well. The one question that does come up with this acquisition though is defense, and as we all know by now, defense is what ultimately wins championships. The Suns front office put it all on the line to get 3 elite offensive talents, but now with little to no wiggle room, they aren't able to get any additional defenders to help make up the lack of defensive capabilities that trio possesses. We have already seen what happens from a defensive standpoint when you pair up 3 scorers like them in Brooklyn, which can cause a defensive dilemma. from a chemistry standpoint, this pairing should work just fine, especially with none of these three players holding too big of an ego to the point where they want the ball 100% of the time. But when looking at the consequences of this trade, if this trade doesn't work out for the Suns, they might just be doomed for the next 5+ years. If an injury occurs or the situation just doesn't pan out, Phoenix is essentially in no man's land due to them giving up most of their draft capital in the Kevin Durant trade as well as this trade. This is the worst possible scenario that could happen for any NBA team because there's no way for Phoenix to erase this mistake besides letting time heal it. On the other side of this trade, the Washington Wizards are embarking on a new direction following Beal's departure. The trade signifies a rebuild for the team, which has struggled to make the playoffs in recent years. Although the Wizards didn't require any first-round picks in this trade, they managed to unload the remaining 4 years and $207 million of Beal's contract. This provides them with the opportunity to reshape their roster and build for the future. For the Wizards, the decision to trade Beal was difficult, as he had become the face of the franchise and a beloved figure in Washington. However, the team's recent struggles and inability to advance deep in the playoffs led to a reevaluation of their long-term strategy. With Beal's contract set to expire in a few years, and the possibility of him leaving in free agency looming, the Wizards decided to maximize their return and kickstart a rebuilding process sooner rather than later. The Wizards will free up significant cap space by trading Beal. This newfound financial flexibility allows them to be active in free agency, potentially targeting young players with upside or veterans who can mentor their developing talent. However, the Wizards will need to strike a balance between adding new pieces and ensuring they maintain a competitive roster that can remain entertaining for fans during the rebuilding phase. In addition to Chris Paul, the Suns included Landry Shamet in the trade package. Shamet, a young shooting guard known for his three-point shooting ability, adds depth to the Wizards' backcourt and provides a potential long-term replacement for Beal. While Shamet may not possess the same star power as Beal, he brings a valuable skill set that could thrive in a larger role with the Wizards. In addition to acquiring Chris Paul and Landry Shamet, the Wizards will also have young talent from recent drafts on their roster for the upcoming season. They'll look to explore potential sign and trade opportunities for players like Kristaps Porzingis and Kyle Kuzma to gain additional draft capital and picks. However, if these opportunities don't materialize, the Wizards will likely move on from these players. As of now, young assets like Denny Avdia, Corey Kispert, and their 8th overall pick, whose sources project to be Anthony Black, but I project to be Cason Wallace, are expected to be retained, while the rest of the roster undergoes significant changes. These draft assets provide the Wizards with future flexibility to make additional moves or package them in potential trades. When looking at overall negative outcomes that could occur for Washington of this trade, there really aren't many. If they did keep Bradley Beal, they would be stuck in no man's land for the foreseeable future. So by getting rid of him now, they just started the process of building a good roster sooner rather than later. The one thing you can say about this trade is that they basically tied themselves up and lowered Beal's trade value drastically and gave him up for nothing. But now, with a fresh new roster, the fans and organization have a nice future to look forward to. The trade between the Wizards and the Suns has generated mixed reactions from fans and analysts alike. Suns fans are optimistic about the team's championship prospects with the addition of Beal, while Wizards fans face the reality of rebuilding without their star player. Both teams have made significant moves that will shape their futures, and only time will tell how successful these moves will be. In terms of fans' reactions, the trade has elicited mixed responses from both the Wizards and Suns supporters. Wizards fans are mourning their loss of their star player, but recognize the potential benefits of rebuilding around a younger core. Suns fans, on the other hand, are thrilled about the team's upgraded roster and the prospect contending for a championship. Personally, I feel that other teams around the league will take this trade with a grain of salt and won't be too intimidated by it, solely for the fact that we've seen experiences like this before and how it's worked out. But as the season goes on, if Beal and the Suns pose as a major threat in the NBA, this could change how teams view roster building, and players like Bradley Beal, who are scoring oriented, could be boosted up in value. When you stack up previous trades for star guards that were undervalued, like James Harden to Brooklyn in exchange for Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving to the Celtics for picks and additional assets, and more, what stays constant is adding a scoring guard to an already loaded scoring roster. This shows to have its benefits when creating leads, but deeper into the season, not having that extra depth can bite back. What also stays constant is how after making these trades, the team receiving the star player doesn't have much wiggle room, which was seen in this trade. But what's different about this trade specifically is the value in which the Suns got Beal for. The fact that they gave up only Landry Shamet and an aging Chris Paul, who is about to be waived, is crazy. So besides for the fact that they gave up 6 second-round picks, which could be valuable in the future, it seems like a low-risk, high-reward move. Overall, I think this is a solid trade for both sides. For Phoenix, going all in after getting Kevin Durant and having Devin Booker in his prime makes sense, but not having much wiggle room could could bite them back. So because of this, I give this trade a B+ for the Suns. For the Wizards though, I think their intention of rebuilding was correct, but the fact that they didn't get much in return for Bradley Beal, who's their star player, is pretty bad. So because of this, I give this trade a C- for them. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end and you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Comment on what you guys think about the Bradley Beal trade. Who do you think won, the Wizards or Suns, or anything related to this topic? Let's get a great basketball conversation started. I'll see you guys in the next video and have a blessed day. Peace.